going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of live racing here in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Back on a Monday. That's right, first post time 12:55. Of course, we're going to race Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Did we have a pretty big day the other day? Maybe on Saturday? betPARX Pennsylvania Derby and Cotillion Day. We're going to recap and talk about that plenty. Also wearing my cool shirt Monday. Got the PTHA, of course, turning for home. We remember all the great stakes runners we had, not only today, but throughout the years here at Parks. Also remembering where the racehorses go after their careers are done on the racetrack as they get into retirement. We'll talk about that a little bit later on today's show. We got some great racing action coming up for you, but first, before we kick things off, as always, we got to take a look at the Parks playback, and these are the races that took place before Saturday, just in case you're looking for some of that Saturday action. So here it is, the Parks playback.
Parks playback time, here we go. Assad was the winner. Dexter Haddock down the stretch, rolling and passing rivals to get the victory. Then it was Walk Me Home. Not walking, but running. Walk Me Home and Angel Rodriguez, Silvino Ramirez. They team up for a nice victory. Recycle. Oh yeah, that's right. Make sure you always recycle. But this one is the horse recycle. Julio Hernandez for trainer Bernie Houghton. They were dominant over the turf course in front-running fashion. Tuesday action, it was Caddy LaBelle singing a tune one more time. Caddy LaBelle battling back to the inside at a huge price for trainer Randy Allen. Dilly Philly, big day for trainer Jamie Ness. Ruben Silvera, they get the big score. Thistlefield for trainer Scott Lake. How good was this effort? Driving away in the stretch, Edwin Rivera picking up another win on the card. Then back on the turf, Solemn Oath moves through to the inside, rolling through the stretch, passing Awesome New Year in the final strides to get the victory for Jacinto Solis. Congrats Answer, Patricia Farrow, and Andy Hernandez teaming up from off the pace. This horse just getting up in time. And Seafret was very good. The Gray for Lou Leonard Jr., Luis Ocasio, front-running score, and winning it, just holding on. Have a great week.
That's a look at some of the winners there from last week before the big day of racing on Saturday, the biggest day of racing in Pennsylvania. We just had it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it and joined us here, whether you were on track or whether you were just watching from wherever you were across the country. What a slate of races we had. Let's take a look at, again, the whole lineup that we saw here on Saturday. Of course, there were 10 stakes races total, 13 races overall. Cannot give a shout out and a big kudos enough to the racing office doing their job and putting together a fantastic card. It clearly and truly is a team effort to put it all together. So just so impressed by how everybody here at Parks really put on a wonderful day. And the bettors responded as well, and that was good to see. So thank you once again for getting involved on Saturday. We are going to recap and take a look at some of the stakes racing action, see some of the stakes winners, and take a look at the happy connections, of course, as we go through all of those 10 stakes races here on out of the gate. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll start. It was the Imply. Florida Sombra came in, and she was a big favorite in the Imply for the 2-year-old fillies. But look at this. It was Midnight Parade. Midnight Parade and David Cora now 2 for 2 in her career. She won her debut. And the Pennsylvania bred, Pennsylvania sired, brand new race coming into this season for Hillman Racing, David Cora. You see the happy connections as we had some really nice racing action leading up to this, big full fields in those maiden races. But Midnight Parade pulled off the upset and was the winner of the Imply on its first year in existence right here at Parks. Then we had the Prince Lucky Stakes as we moved over to the boys race, and we had a pretty big favorite in Gordian Knot, and you're going to recognize these silks because they didn't get the job done with Florida Sombra, but Gordian Knot, he had a really impressive effort on his debut. Remember him into the far turn, just driving away and finishing. Gordian Knot on the center of the racetrack, but he was much the best that day. He was a short price at 2 to 5. There is Keith Sends Hello, named for former track announcer here at Parks, Keith Jones, second. Man, he just continues to keep trying. He's always been right there. We'll see when Keith Sends Hello. How about hasn't gotten a win yet? He's still looking for his maiden win, but he's earned quite a bit of money, Keith Sends Hello. So congratulations to both of those connections there, and all the connections finishing in the top 3 in the Prince Lucky. It was a great day for the Pennsylvania bred and the Pennsylvania sired horses. Talking about some of the racing action here today, so I did want to take a look at race number 3. I feel like it's a pretty strong race. When you take a look at Jean Valjean, this horse has got early speed, just faded in the late stages last time. I think this horse is going to be a much tighter racehorse. McLean Hendricks sent out Whitty over the weekend in the Gallant Bob. You would imagine you take a look at a runner like this and you take a look at Jean Valjean, now second off the layoff. I just feel like this horse takes the next step forward. A 3-year-old gelding, speaking of Pennsylvania breds, by Uncolino, but the PA bred for the Hastings Farm, a homebred, and we'll see if McLean Hendricks and Kendrick Carmouche, named to ride here, get the job done there in today's third race. It's a compact field, but it's a competitive one. That'll be race number 3. Let's take a quick break, hear a little bit more about what's going on here at PARX and how you can get involved.
Now available, an enhanced PARX Racing mobile app. The improved PARX mobile app will feature biometric login through fingerprint or face ID. View wagering information before building your wager. Customizable viewing options. Hands betting and transaction history. Helpful tips. And much more. The enhanced PARX mobile app, now available.
It was almost a trainer John Service trifecta in the Plum Pretty Stakes. Love in the Air got right to the front end. You're going to see this as a common theme here in the middle section of the card. There is Paco Lopez. He's been riding here pretty much all season, right, here at PARX. He's been spending the winter with us and picking up a lot of mounts. Well, he had a good one on Saturday. Love in the Air got right to the front. There's leader of the band. Just missing third there in the trifecta as congratulations again to the Connections, but Mainline Racing Stable, you see those very familiar silks. They get the job done in the Plum Pretty. That was Love in the Air. As we continued that stakes racing action, Mind Control now goes back-to-back. A back-to-back winner in the PARX Dirt Mile. John Velasquez, the Hall of Famer, was aboard. You see the Matticat Stables silks. Trainer Todd Pletcher, he had a double on the afternoon to that point. Rich just jumped out of the way there. Red Oak Stable, Matticat Stables, LLC. Mind Control going back-to-back. Was via a disqualification that did take place in the stretch in the PARX Dirt Mile, but a thrilling race nonetheless. Then we went on over to the Greenwood Cup, and a 1.5 miles, of course, a distance race. It's for those stayers, and Riding with Biden has really started to put things together. We got a chance to talk to Butch Reed, and trainer Robert Reed Jr. had really pointed out that they just felt like, you know, since he's been gelded, Riding with Biden has really kind of come into his own. You see the defending champion, Magic Michael, rolling up on the outside. Just couldn't catch the front runner who just was, man, he was just on the muscle. Paco Lopez picking up another victory on the stakes pack card. It was a big front running score there in the Greenwood Cup, just set the tempo, and you just saw those front two really separate and get away from the rest of the field. So Riding with Biden got that big victory. I think it was right around 8 or 9 to 1 there. I don't have all my notes in front of me, but some good value there if you liked that runner in the Greenwood Cup. Hey, the Philly Big Five had a mandatory distribution on Saturday. Congratulations if you hit it. Just over, what, $1,500 or so in the Philly Big Five return. I'll double check that number, but I think it was right around $1,500. So, hey, you had some favorites in the sequence. We're going to talk about those favorites in just a moment, but it starts all over again today. The Philly Big Five, no carryover. It's a jackpot bet. Hear more about the Philly Big Five. It's always the last 5 races of the day, the Philly Big Five, as we get involved in that wager. 10 races on the card. That's going to start in race number 6 on the program. And again, no carryover going into this afternoon, but congratulations if you put that sequence together. Remember, it's a 50-cent minimum, pick 5 format, always the last 5 races of the day. We are off the turf this afternoon, and I think I've got some picks here for race number 9. I think there's going to be some adjustments to these picks, though, so we can go ahead and show those selections. Obviously, I haven't gotten scratches and changes, but I think some of even the dirt horses are scratched out of there, so I'm going to have to double check as far as what the scratches are. Now, if Seish does go in that 9th race, this horse showed a big run last time, was sitting off the pace, and really exploded through the stretch run and drove away and finished very nicely. I do want to double check on those selections. I'll go through the top 3, actually. Let's just go ahead and do that and see if any one of them are in there. But Civil War, Lou Linder Jr., you see a horse coming from the turf, now getting on the dirt for the first time. Again, this is before scratches and changes, so I do apologize if these horses are not in this race. But the number 11, Silver Edge, Ralph Ribiezo, Jeremy Laprida, 5-year-old gelding by Competitive Edge. When you take a look at this runner in that field, I mean, this horse does have some races that would stack up. 4th place finishes in the last 3 starts, 2nd place finish 4 starts back. Silver Edge might be the type of horse that you do take a look at and maybe you say, this one's got a shot. It's a distance race, right? We're going to go 1 mile and 1/8. We just talked about the Greenwood Cup. Maybe a horse gets there on the lead and they change the tactics up a little bit, wants to slow down the pace, and can just keep going on the front end. We'll see how that does continue. A little bit cooler this afternoon, fast main track, off the turf. Again, so the 14 and 13 are out. So Silver Edge would end up being my top selection in there. I'll get my full scratches and changes. I'll get those full picks out to you as well. But just want to make sure I'm passing along the right information. I did think I would walk by the jocks room there and just saw a couple scratches there. So not today for Seish, but maybe next time out for the barn. All right, get back into the stakes races that we were talking about, and we continue to see some great performances. How good was this one? First graded stakes mount for the trainer. First graded stakes mount for the jockey. I guess it wouldn't be the first graded stakes mount for the first time saddling a graded stakes runner in trainer Michael Moore, Andy Hernandez. Local connections, stabled right here at Parks. Let's see the turf monster. How good was that effort? Into the winner's circle, all smiles, hands waved in the air. Andy Hernandez, Michael Moore, owner James Shannon Jr., a fantastic run from That's Right. Broke from the rail, got right to the lead. Forgot that we were only showing a winner's circle on this. I'm sure there's some people that are on the backside yelling, where is the stretch run? It was a really great stretch run. That's right. Boats are rocking. Rich! And then That's Right. Andy Hernandez, Michael Moore there getting the win for the connections. But it was a tremendous run, and we got a chance to actually catch up with That's Right on the backside. When we got a chance to go to the barn area and hang out with That's Right and just do that prep. I mean, trainer Michael Moore had let you know, and we did it on this show when Craig Donnelly was sitting next to me. He talked about, look, this trip, rail draw, he's got that one way of going. He's going to go right to the front, and he's going to see if he can take them all the way. He got in front of Uncle Ernie. If you go back and watch the replay, goes into that far turn, really was striding out nicely as they got to the top of the stretch. And I felt like once he kicked on and he was about 4 lengths in front, you saw those closers trying to catch him there at the wire. Boats are rocking for M3 Racing Stable, grabbing that second. Was cutting back in distance from route races, so maybe just ran out of a little bit of ground. Maybe they face each other again in the future. That's right, Boats are rocking. We'll see. The Turf Monster, lovely race right here at Parks. Moving on, race number 10. I mean, where's the Queen fans, right? I mean, where are the Freddie Mercury fans out there that were saying Scaramouche, right? I mean, let's take a look at the Gallant Bob. Huge field. You saw Nicholas Camerano Jr. He was talking about his horse on social media. He's a fantastic follow. Guadalupe Preciado, the Hall of Famer John Velasquez. Scaramouche, Scaramouche, indeed. Just holding off that late close from Of a Revolution up on the outside. A fantastic performance. Again, local connections getting the victory here on the biggest day of racing in Pennsylvania. Congratulations to the team as Scaramouche winning the greatest stakes and winning a big one. The Gallant Bob, how happy are we for them? Trainer Guadalupe Preciado, he had a big day as well. He had quite a few winners on the card. We'll talk about another stakes winner coming up later on, but a great day for the barn. Right here, again, based at Parks. Then we had the big ones. We had the Cotillion, grade 1, $1 million 3-year-old fillies going in the Cotillion, and what a performance we saw by Society. Society got right to the front end and she was long gone, right? You see her in the stretch drive. They are not making up the ground. Morning Matcha, we talked about her. We got a chance to catch her with Butch Reed, and we were talking about how, she was a little bit closer. They took her back. She runs up in, and she gets that graded stakes placing over Secret Oath there in the top 3. Classy field of 3-year-old fillies in the Cotillion. Society, Steve Asmussen, he wins it again. Now goes back-to-back in the Cotillion. He won it last year with Clairiere. He wins it this year with Society Florent Giroux, another name that we've seen here at Parks throughout the season. What did I say, right? Goes right to the outside, speed horse, gets right to the front, sired by Gun Runner. Just a fantastic horse to watch, a 3-year-old filly that's really coming into her own, and just excited to see how she progresses and how she'll represent this race. I mean, remember, there's some big races still coming up in the fall, and Society could be one to be heard from here as we get into those months. And then, of course, we had the betPARX Pennsylvania Derby, the Grade 1 race. We had Brian Dawkins that was joining us, Jameer Nelson, I don't want to leave him out. They were doing the Riders Up call. Jameer Nelson did it for the Cotillion, St. Joe's National Player of the Year, NBA All-Star, and then the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Famer, Brian Dawkins, B-Doc, right? Cheering on B-Doc, who was in the field for the Grade 1 betPARX Pennsylvania Derby. A $1 million race, and what a performance we saw. Trainer Bob Baffert, we talked about that. Craig Donnelly talked about it. He knows how to win these big races right here at Parks. Taba with the Hall of Famer Mike Smith aboard. Right there in the center of the racetrack, you see Zandon, Cyberknife getting up there for third, Oversimplification, who, again, thank you to Antonio Sano, trainer Antonio Sano. They came early and they spent some time with us throughout the week, allowing us to just get some footage to all the connections, really, but Cyberknife finishing third. And then you saw Taba getting the big victory over Zandon. A Grade 1 race. I mean, any way you take a look at it, it was a Grade 1 performance by not only the horses on the track, not only the connections, obviously, not only everybody that works on the front side and the back side, but the best TV crew in the business. I can't thank them enough for the tireless work that they put in to putting on what was just a fantastic day of racing and a fantastic broadcast. And hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. But Jessica Paquette, she was a wonderful addition to the team on Saturday. And we had a really, really great time. And hopefully you guys did as well. And hey, next year, 2023, come on back for the, I would imagine it'll still be called the betPARX Pennsylvania Derby and Cotillion Day. Let's take a look at the performance of the week. What's that? Oh, Alphabet said there was one more stakes race, of course. What am I doing? It's Monday, guys. It's Monday after a big day. Alphabet Soup Handicap. How can we forget? By Land and Sea. I told you Guadalupe Preciado had a huge day. Michael Sanchez had a huge day as well. Man, I almost made it through the whole show. By Land and Sea approaches the 16th pole, well clear, got right to the front end, and ended it strongly. Another gray wins the Alphabet Soup Handicap, which was a big race there for the local connections. Once again, Guadalupe Preciado, I mean, he's just got to be smiling ear to ear. High fives for the entire barn. They get the victory, got right to the front end, a horse that was newly moved into the barn. And talk about Joe Ambisi. I mean, take a look at the day that he had. He had those big winners. He's got social inclusion, just a fantastic day for the ownership and for his family, I'm sure, as well. Now, let's take a look at that performance of the week. It was our performance of the week that took place actually before betPARX Pennsylvania Derby and Cotillion Day. So check it out. This was the performance of the week. ET's Moon Maiden was a huge price that afternoon, and 20 to 1, right around that 20 to 1 range. And Abner Adorno, he was the performance of the week last week too. I noticed it when I was posting the video. So Abner Adorno goes back-to-back performances of the week. ET's Moon Maiden with this score. Don't forget to check out PTHA's Turning for Home. You can learn all about aftercare and everything that we've got going on for the races after they're done with their careers. Make sure that you get involved and take a look at everything that they've got to offer. You can go to patha.org, and also don't forget about the 50-50. A 50-50 happened. They raised quite a bit of money. The winner, I think, left with over $1,800. So that's a great day for that lucky fan. Hopefully maybe they bet a few bucks back after they got that $1,800 win, but hopefully they were able to donate as well to a great cause like PTHA's Turning for Home. Follow us on social media all season long on Twitter, @Parks Racing, @InTheGrandstand. Hit that subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Parks_Racing. You guys are the best. What a great day we had here at Parks on Saturday. The Match Series is coming up here very soon, so we turn the page and get right into the stakes racing action again right here at Parks. Hopefully you enjoyed the biggest day of racing in Pennsylvania. You guys showed out. You showed up. We had a great time. We'll see you here next week on Out of the Gate. Best TV crew in the business. Love you guys. See you next week.